are done that way. It's a stroke of a pen to implement them. It's a stroke of a pen to repeal them. Okay, fine. But in taking out the broad brush, what Mamdani did in the process was he repealed executive orders that defined anti-Semitism and ensured that city agencies enforced that definition. And this is a guy you would think that he would avoid coming to you, Silas. You would think that this guy would avoid or would look at anti-Semitism with his whole
Hello,
thing
Trigger B
about,
Radio.
Globalize the Intifada and
Hope you're doing well.
all of the accusations of anti-Semitism, so many of them coming out of the megaphone on the Red Apple Audio Networks and here locally in New York City, 77 WABC. Our legendary morning man, Sid Rosenberg, one of the loudest and proudest Jewish voices in America, standing firm against this guy. You would think that for the first couple of days, any normal person, communists are not normal, anti-Semites are not normal, any normal person would have said, I'm not going to just go lightly on the Jewish thing. He, in fact, said, I'm going to shove everything right in their faces. And he went for it, and he doubled down, Mamdani did. And he appointed
Hello, James Farley.
9/11 conspirator lawyer, and he repealed an executive order that
audio good on the radio?
defined anti-Semitism and ensured the city enforced it. Guy's an anti-Semite. Just an anti-Zionist.
All right, cool.
He's an anti-Semite.
March, y'all maybe coming today.
1-800-848-9222. Silas in Staten Island. Good
in
morning,
Manchester, Connecticut. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hope you get it today.
So we're only 3 days in.
Yep.
But within 3 to 4 months, the problem is I want to see how many of his followers are going to keep following him. When it comes down to the real journalists are going to go down to the housing projects.
Right.
And they're going to see people who are freezing.
Right.
What's the mayor going to do when they say, where is you, mayor?
All right.
I can't get in my
So
building.
TJ
My
McCormick
children is freezing,
overnight.
and you ain't do nothing.
So I'm going to be listening to TJ McCormick.
Because you the mayor. You better fix this.
All right, good audio.
And if
Thank
he
you.
wants to do free buses, free trains, fine. But how's he going to get conductors? How's he going to get bus drivers when you can't pay them? You can make it free, but there's nobody going to drive it. I worked in buildings, for landlords who have maybe 10 units to 20 units in the basements, making sure them boilers work and fix. If he can't pay them, and these landlords walk away from the buildings, who's going to run them? AOC? Bernie Sanders?
Right.
Kids who ain't got no skill?
Right.
Who's going to do this?
Right.
I want to see how many of them stay with him when he can't deliver, because I already going to make up my signs, where's my free stuff?
Yeah.
And when he, and as far as his
we waiting to see the server too.
He calls himself a socialist.
Yeah, he's doubling and tripling down.
And it's never gonna work.
Nope.
Especially in America.
Right. It's it.
And when it comes,
we're all excited about it too. I'm dying to tune your server.
They wanted to make they want to make a mandate where all buildings have to be electric.
Right.
Why? So when the electricity goes out,
we need more representation in America.
And you've got no alternative. You'll see.
Yep. No, we're doomed. It's doomed.
Watch and see how it's going to be.
I'm telling you, man. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Silas.
The other thing I wanted to make is the sun, which gives us everything. Because when the sun switches out, we're gone.
Right.
And I fill that with the Son of God.
S-O-N.
And if we lose either one of them, we lose America.
Yep. You're right, dude. It's what we were founded on.
America stands with morality. You can have the greatest, strongest army in the world, but if your leaders sell you out, like Biden did,
right?
What good is having the greatest army in the world if you're going to stand down when it comes time to fight? So I'm glad that Donald Trump is looking to get this Maduro guy out of there.
Yeah.
Because every nation that wants to follow our lead will win along with us. Canada, Greenland, all of them.
Yeah, they'll follow.
Follow us, you win.
There you go. Thank you, Silas.
Communists, you lose.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Amen. Truth, justice, and the American way. It's what Mr. Katz is talking about every single damn day of the week here on this network and on 77 in New York City. Truth, justice, and the American way, which is nothing to do with communism. And yeah, so just to recap again, in the last hour and a half, multiple explosions in Caracas, Venezuela. Actually, let me do that like a proper journalist. In Caracas, Venezuela. And right now they're reporting a column of smoke seen, loud noises heard in Venezuela, Venezuela, and journalists in the capital could hear aircraft after the explosions. And here to comment on that is New Jersey correspondent Pamela on line 2.
Hey, I've been waiting 60 years, yes, since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
For somebody in America to do something about the drug info. Even I understood in the 60s that somebody's getting rich in America off of this drug trade. And I am so happy that Trump is doing it. But what I'm not happy about is we've got Mondanis all over the place, a takeover all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard me at the tail end of Dr. Sky. I had to call in.
I did.
Oh, okay. There was a gentleman who called in, and I gave it to the screen caller, and he's very good. He'll give him the information. But this is just telling you what's going on in the other parts of the world that you don't, country that you don't hear about. Okay, we're hanging on by a tether, by a little string with our red states. Florida's red, and we all learned from Helene about West North Carolina and East Tennessee, right?
Right.
That's the last bastion of republicanism, okay? Well, I got family down there. Long story. My husband's down there. I'm trying to get out of New Jersey. And with Mikey Sherrill being in here, oh my God, all the prices just went up. They just raised
immediately. My God, I totally forgot about her. I totally forgot about that loss. I totally forgot. So, oh my God.
It's doomsday for us here. It's just doomsday. So anyway, what they have just sneaked in down there. Now, I know they've been wanting an AI generative center.
Yes.
And I told my husband, here comes eminent domain. Here comes all this bull. And you know, the only people who lived down there like years ago were people who were retiring and could afford to put their life into a property. And it was, Jonesboro is a very quaint town. It's the oldest town in Tennessee. Johnny Cash hung out there. Musicians, storytelling. It's a very quaint town. Well, lo and behold, and sometimes I think my husband didn't tell me right away because he knew that I would blow a fuse. They're building a uranium enrichment center right next to our town and taking away farmland.
Isn't that great?
And
uranium enrichment. What is this, Tehran? What the?
Exactly. Some kind of, history tells us that Southeast Tennessee helped develop the atom bomb along with Los Alamos out in Arizona.
Yes.
So I knew about that moving down there. And, you know, okay, what are you going to do? Nuclear is all over the place. But I did not know we had a storage center in the next county over, which really got flooded during Helene. That's the one with the hospital underwater. And they almost had a disaster there. So I'm thinking, oh, wonderful, great, we're surrounded. Now they're building the center, and there's trucks going in and out and everything. Well, I guess people, being plastic is finally over.
Coming from the water heater.
People are enraged, including me.
Yeah.
And my husband's going to a meeting next week in the town, and he says he
that's
thinks
the only place for this radio.
I said, yeah, but don't us back down.
I mean, the radio sucks at everything except.
We're going to do eminent domain. Our
AM talk radio and FM. It sounds good because they got a nice speaker.
Blackburn was,
that's something about the radio that's good.
About this. Oh, people say, well, we have to do it because
so that's why it's relegated to the.
And Russia will do it. And it's helping us with medical research. Hey, I got news for you. If our quality of life goes down the toilet in this country, I don't want to live into my 90s.
Yeah, well, you know, I tell you, we'll see what happens here, and like you said, it's growing. You know, you're gonna see.
I got on FM for a minute. That's shortwave. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, anyway, this radio, of course, Jill's has this radio too. He reviewed it. Crappy review also. This radio is just sucks at everything. But it's only good for talk radio on strong stations. That's it. You know, is it worth $50? Hell no.
Senator Blackburn's office in Jonesboro. She's very powerful. She's
for
in
strong
the news,
AM signals.
And she's running for governor.
That's a nice speaker.
Yes,
because
Marsha.
let me tell you something. We're used to this area being polluted and crowded, so we're not noticing it.
Right.
But it's happening all over the country. So there's going to be no place to go. There's going to be nowhere to move. And we're getting a lot of liberals now in Tennessee from California. You know what they're doing? They're escaping the taxes, the rich people.
But they're bringing the rest of their liberal social policies with them.
Exactly.
It happened in Texas.
They live in Tennessee over half the year so they can escape state taxes.
Yeah.
But then they go back to California and wherever they're making movies nowadays, which, by the way, New Jersey is becoming a movie center.
Well, it's also the same thing in Georgia, which is getting purplish, and the same thing with North Carolina. The same thing with Arizona, right? Remember when Arizona was reliable? Well, Californians moved to Arizona. They moved to moved to Nevada. They moved to Texas. Austin is a big blue dot in the middle of deep red, formerly deep red Texas, now teetering on purple. Pamela, I got to jump. I got to get over to Eduardo in Florida. Eduardo, good morning. I was curious what, as I was talking about Venezuela, I know you're down there in Florida with the big Venezuelan population. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, I got the two Spanish news on here. I just saw a column of, they look like Blackhawks and Chinooks.
Yeah.
They just reported the airport was bombed.
Whoa.
And these are multiple targets, so it's not all in one place.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Yeah, that's from what I can gather. Even that midget in Colombia who I want to squeeze, I don't know if that's going to be possible, but he's obviously alerted the world of what's going on because, you know, he's with Maduro, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, maybe, you know, by Trump making an example of Maduro and his regime, then the little midget in Colombia follows suit and realizes, you know, his days are numbered.
This puts a scare not only with him, but everybody else.
If they got Blackhawks and Chinooks, that means they're going to have ground troops. Wow. So this might be the beginning of a little invasion, maybe. Yeah, it's a little lime left over from, you know, the other night. I'm going to finish it up tonight, and that's it. So, yeah, I'm going to finish it up tonight.
And Tren de Aragua is...
Right, remember the caravans that went down there? If you obviously, you didn't see this on the English news, but you'd see it on the Spanish news.
Well, it's not going to be a war. This happened before. Before you was born. We did go into Panama to get Noriega because he was also, you know, a dictator, and he was also drug dealing. So, you know, we got him out of there and we brought him back to Florida and we put him in prison. So that's what I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to get him and bring his ass back to America and put him in prison. He does have a $50 million bounty on his head. Is it $50 million or $25 million? I forgot what the price is. So, you know, they're going to do the same thing. It's not going to be all out war. Venezuela's not a major... Venezuela doesn't have anything against the U.S. So, in fact, the people probably welcome to take them out. So I'm not going to call it a war. It's not a war. please.
Yeah, no, I saw that. It was an odd clip, but it was like him and a couple of guys and driving around doing interviews and yeah.
And history. I'll give you a little brief history about the Monroe Doctrine. We are the biggest superpower in this side. Well, we are the biggest superpower in the world. But we also have something called the Monroe Doctrine. That means that our side of the hemisphere, we're the boss. That's it. In 1961, the Soviet Union put missiles in Cuba. And you know what we told Cuba and the Soviet Union? You need to get the missiles out, or we're going to invade Cuba. And the Soviet Union had to take the missiles out. That was it. Because on our side of the hemisphere, we're the big dog. I don't care what anybody says. We're the big dog. Whether you like it or not, we are the big dog. We're the big dog. On our side of the hemisphere, we don't want that nonsense. We don't want that communism crap. We don't want that. Although Cuba is communism, but they're going through an embargo for about 60 years now. Their country's collapsing under their own regime. So, yeah, we're the big dog. That's what the Monroe Doctrine is. Now, in the Eastern Hemisphere, of course, you got Russia, you got China and all that. And you know what? Do what you got to do over there. Although we do have NATO and we protect Europe. And we have a few allies around the world. But on the Eastern Hemisphere, on the Western Hemisphere, North America, South America, we're the big dog. And we got to do what we got to do to keep everybody in line. So nobody gets crazy like Venezuela and start inviting Chinese people over here and Russian. And then before you know it, there's a nuclear base in Venezuela. That ain't going to happen. That's why we got to whip out the big stick. You understand how it works? When you read a lot of history like I did, that's what the Monroe Doctrine is. This goes back to this goes back to when we fought the revolution afterwards. The War of 1812 and so on. We're the big dog. We're the big dog in this hemisphere. And that's it. We're not going to put up with too much shenanigans. And they're going to whip out the stick. And that's it. That's what's going to happen. And that's what's happening right now. And that's it. We gave him a chance to leave. He don't want to leave. So now we're going to go in and get him. That's what it is. That's all it is. Okay? Yeah, I'll probably make a nice Navy base, but we have a base in Puerto Rico. We have a base in Puerto Rico. Trinidad and Tobago just gave us, all this. They gave us access to their ports. So Trinidad and Tobago's right there. It's right off the coast of Venezuela. Trinidad and Tobago's right there. So we can hit them from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, understand about the Monroe Doctrine, and you understand why he's doing this. You got to do it. Reagan did it. Excuse me. Bush 1 did it. Bush Sr. did it. Reagan did it with Grenada. Yeah, Grenada also was acting up because there was a bunch of Cuban whatever. We went to Grenada and we cleaned it up. So it's not the first time. It ain't going to be the last time. Because we're the big dog. We're the big dog in the world. And we're also definitely the big dog in the side of the world. So we're not going to put up with that shenanigan stuff. That's how we roll. You understand? That's the way it goes. That's it. People don't like it, so be it. But that's the way it is. Hello, Kane. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, but we don't even need that. Of course, they are one of the biggest producers of crude oil in the world, actually. And they were a very rich country 30 years ago. But they fell under socialism. And now, here we are now. Conetry, no, Cuba's collapsing because of the embargo, not because of any ideology. No, it is the embargo, but yeah, it is the embargo, of course, but they own out of the ideology and bring it down. Well, are you trying to say communism works? It doesn't work. It didn't work for the Soviet Union. It's not going to work. By the way, a lot of Eastern Bloc countries, it didn't work either. So there you go. You know, did it work for when all the Eastern Bloc countries were communist? No. They all succeeded. The minute the Soviet Union, even before the Soviet Union collapsed, Romania, Hungary, East Germany, they all succeeded because they didn't want to deal with the communism nonsense anymore. So it doesn't work. And by the way, China is a quasi-capitalist country now. They're not totally communist. Same thing with Vietnam. They are not totally communist. They do have a thriving economy, which is quasi-capitalist. So they're both hypocrites when it comes to the communism thing. It's a communism to their own, you know, how you say, it's media stuff. But in terms of economics, China is a big economic power. But that's because they had to do a quasi-capitalist society, especially when they took over Hong Kong. Everybody was afraid that Hong Kong was going to be totally... No, so Hong Kong is a major financial city. But when China took over Hong Kong, it didn't change much. You know, it didn't change much because they knew that, wait a minute, we get a lot of money coming from Hong Kong and all that. So they're not stupid. They didn't totally ruin Hong Kong. If you remember, I don't know how old you are, but we're talking about 1997 when Hong Kong was, when England handed over Hong Kong to China. So anyway, so yeah, there are collapsing because of the embargo. That is true, but you know, communism is what caused them to get the embargo in the first place. Because remember, when Castro took over, he kicked everybody out, and he took all the businesses that were there. Cuba was a nice Caribbean, what do you call it? Everybody went there for vacation. And then he promised everybody the free shit, and they all drank the Kool-Aid. And he put everything that was, all the businesses there became state-owned. And within about a decade or two, they were gone. There's nothing left now. Now, of course, the criminal economy, well, because the embargo did it to himself. Of course, it did it to himself. So, but anyway, the point is that, you know what? It doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. It's never going to work. This mayor right now in New York City, he's a socialist. New York is going to go down the shitter for another 4 years, whatever. I'm glad I don't live in New York City. I live in Yonkers. So I don't care what happens to New York City. I really don't care. You know? When you promise people free shit, it comes out of some people's pockets. And those are the taxpayers. Okay, nothing is free. There's nothing free in this world. So, and yeah, so Conetry says you get him and then what? Yeah, well, they get him and the truly elected leader of Venezuela takes over. She's the one that won the Nobel Peace Prize. She's supposed to be the rightful prime minister or president of Venezuela. And she's not there because he's in the way. So that's what's going to happen. You get him, well, he's going to go, if they extradite him, he's going to go to a prison in the United States, just like Noriega did. He did his time. And then Noriega wound up, I think they released him because he was dying. And anyway, he passed away. So Maduro's just going to go to federal prison because of drug dealing. And he's going to probably rot in prison. And then this Machado, that's her name, Machado. She's going to be the new leader of Venezuela. And then, you know, we're going to put money back in Venezuela. And Venezuela's going to be back the way it should be. It was the jewel of the Caribbean 35 years ago, 40 years ago. It was a place, it was one of the richest cities, and it was one of the wealthiest countries in Latin America. In fact, in this side of the world, it was not only Latin America, but in this hemisphere, Venezuela was an economic power. Okay? Until socialism and communism ruined it. So now you got these other countries, of course, like Nicaragua. They're still struggling with all that, and you know they're where they at. They still are never going to be an economic. They're still going to be a third world country because they keep embracing this stupid shit called communism and socialism. Cuba should never be in this position. But because of Castro, that's what happened. And now, of course, Castro, his brother took over after he passed away. And then now you have Canel. That's the leader of Cuba now. Canel Bermudez. And of course, it sounds like he's not going to change. He's not going to change anything. So they're just going to, Cuba's going to have their own revolution and whatever. I feel sorry for the Cuban people. I wish they would, I don't hate Cuba. I'm Puerto Rican. So to me, they're my brothers and sisters. But the system they're in, you're never going to achieve. And when the government tells you where to work, where to go to school and all that, that's not a life. I'm sorry, that's not a life. And you could agree to disagree me, whatever. You could agree or don't disagree. I don't really care. Doesn't matter to me. But hey, do it yourself.
Pointed to his administration somebody who defended a defendant in a 9/11 conspirator trial, and he also removed an executive order.
Well, they're not going to nation build. That's the same thing happened in Panama. They're not going to nation build. If they going in there, it's to get them. They're going to put them in. They're going to get them. They're going to extradite him back to America, and he's going to go on trial for the drug dealing. Remember, he's a wanted man in the United States right now. There's not going to be much nation building because that country is only a few people that are running it. So, they already have the infrastructure with the oil and all that. It's not going to be much nation building. This is not Iraq. Venezuela is not Iraq, which was, to me, it was a mistake. That was a mistake. This is not Iraq. This is going to be like Panama. They're going to go in there, they're going to get them, and within a few weeks, that's it. And then they're going to be fine. That's it. It's not going to be nothing like that. It's not Iraq.
Chris and Beth Page, want to make sure I get to you. Been on hold. Hello there, Chris.
Yes, TJ. Two things. I love what Trump's doing down there in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
I often say this to my friends. Can you imagine if Trump was the president during 9/11? First of all, I don't think there would have been a 9/11 if he was president. I don't think they would have had the guts to do that, first of all. But second, what I always tell my friends is, you know what he would have done? He wouldn't have spent a lot of time at all going through, should I do this, that? He would have went right to where he would have floored Afghanistan and gone after, what's his face? Oh
my God. Yeah. For crying out loud. Right? Me too. If you hadn't forgotten it, I wouldn't have forgotten it. But now I forgot it too. Osama bin Laden. Thank you, God.
He would have nuked the cave.
Right. He totally would have just, like, whoever bin Laden is, we're going to kill the guy, and that's it. And then maybe he would have gone after Saddam and Iraq. That would have been it. He's not into troops on the ground, and that's what I love about Trump.
You think I'm too concerned about the midterms?
With nukes.
Is that what you said? Okay, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah. Quick.
You guys are worrying. You're scaring the hell out of me. You're worrying way too much. No.
I think it's worth being scared, buddy.
No, let me tell you something. This is
Okay.
what's going to happen.
Okay.
There's no doubt, and it always happens, is the party out of favor will win the House. That just happens.
Sure.
You know, Obama was a popular president, but he, like he said, in his own words, we got shellacked.
Shellacked.
Was the word.
Right.
Shellacked. They lost like 48 seats. It was crazy.
Like, you don't understand what he's doing. You think the military is just going to go to see it along and get along and retire to Chavez? And Well, you know, I think most people in Venezuela are tired of this man. They're tired of him. If you watch, I watch documentaries that people think there's some people that, of course, people are afraid to talk in the street. Most people want him gone. Most people want him gone. They even said, please, Trump, do something. So the military, there's not much of a military. There's a couple of, you know, right-hand men that are running the country. There was already a couple of coups attempted. Unfortunately, you know, I mean, I saw a documentary on Venezuela a few weeks ago. And the people that were in the inner circle, they're all exiled now. They're all gone because the guy's paranoid. He was, one by one, he was going to get rid of them like the mob, you know, like the mob. Like the mob, you know, like, you know too much. He already started, you know, so they're all gone. The original inner circle of Chavez is not there. Chavez's original inner circle is not there. It's Maduro's people that are still there. Chavez's inner circle left because Maduro turned on them. You know, you don't know that. Of course, you don't know that. I mean, obviously, you don't know that he's putting this comment. So you don't know that. The original inner circle of Chavez left because they feared for their own life. Because they were shocked when Chavez said, They were shocked when Chavez said, when Chavez was dying in his deathbed, he said, I'm going to make Maduro the next guy. And they all looked at him like, what? Are you fucking nuts? You're going to make this fucking bus driver the next leader? And they all said, oh, shit. And one by one, they said, oh, shit, we better get the fuck out of here because this guy's going to fucking turn on us. And that's what he did. One by one, he turned on the so-called attorney general. He turned on her. She had to leave. She had to escape the country. The general of the military, he had to leave. I think the secretary, the vice president, not even the vice president. The guy, yeah, he was like the vice president. The guy that was like next in line, he thought he was next in line to get the presidency. He left. He's in Italy hiding because Chavez put a hit on him. I mean, not Chavez, Maduro. I'm sorry, Maduro. So yeah, you know, the only people that are around him right now are his Maduro. Maduro in a circle. Chavez in a circle is gone. So yeah, they want this. You know, is there going to be some collateral damage? Yeah, unfortunately, there will be collateral damage. Some people are going to get killed along the way. But overall, they want this man gone. They want him gone. You know? And Machado's going to come in, and she's already elected. She's entitled to the presidency. She's the one that won the election. Machado. Right now, she's in exile because of him. As soon as he's gone, she's gonna. And he said it. Listen, he predicted this months ago when he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. He said, "I would like to give you she wanted him to be there in Copenhagen to accept the award, and he was gonna. But he said, "I think he's doing this because he said, of course, it's a little late now. She already got the award. But I think he wanted to present it with knowing that she was the leader now. But, of course, that didn't happen. I thought that was going to happen a few weeks ago, but it didn't happen. So this is going to happen. It's going to happen regardless. It's going to happen. He's gone. His days are numbered. His days are numbered no matter what. And then Machado's going to come in and that's it. She's the leader. Now, whatever she does, hey, I hope, for the sake of the people. But she was the one that was elected. So, and this is nothing new. This happened before. This happened with Panama with Noriega. This happened in Grenada, where there was a bunch of medical students that were held hostage by some Cuban troops. And for Grenada, I remember it was Reagan. Reagan was the one that sent in the Marines and the 82nd Airborne, and they went in there and they cleaned up Grenada, and they got, and they captured a whole bunch of Cuban soldiers, and eventually they sent them back to Cuba. And that was it. And the medical students in that medical school, they were free. So go look up Grenada. This happened around 1982, I believe. And then, of course, later on, Noriega, Panama. He was a little too big. He got a little too big for his britches. And then he started drug dealing. He kept posturing like what this guy does. Oh, America this, America that. And they finally got fed up with him and they said, okay, well, we're gonna go to Panama. We're gonna get your ass out of there. And they did. They flew him back to Miami and they put him on trial. And he went, I think he did like 20 or 25 years in prison. And then I believe they finally let him out because they gave him clemency because he was dying of cancer. And shortly after that, he did die. So the same thing is going to happen to this guy. They're going to go and get him wherever he's at. And they're going to, they're going to get him. When I hear Black Hawk helicopters and Chinook, that means there's special forces and there's troops. They're probably going to take over the airport and all that, things like that. Okay? And they're going to locate this guy and they're going to get him. They're going to get him because they're not going to put up a fight. Why are they going to defend the guy? If you defend the guy by now, you're stupid. And by the way, he got a $50 million reward. Hey, I'm sure somebody want to collect that reward. It's $50 million for anybody, let alone somebody in Venezuela. That man got maybe a couple of more days left. If the reports are true that there's Black Hawk helicopters in the airport, that means they're dropping troops right now. They're dropping either special forces, Navy SEALs, but I'm gonna say special forces. Okay, so they're gonna secure the airport. Then they're gonna use the airport for their own landing strip, and then from there it's over. It's over. Finito. It's over. It's just to get, they're just going to go in there just to get him out of there.
All right, so now
and the rightful leader will come in and take over.
On the Red Apple Audio Networks. It is confirmed that U.S. officials have confirmed that it is us. We are pulling an operation in Venezuela as we speak. There are reports of special forces on the ground in Venezuela.
I called it. You heard it. I called it.
All around Venezuela.
Special forces. I told you.
The government blames
I told you that.
Trump's people just said, yeah, that's us.
At least they're going to fish them out of there.
Again, the U.S. has confirmed that that we are currently performing strikes against the Venezuelan government. At least 7 explosions and low-flying aircraft heard in Venezuela's capital. Column of smoke has been seen. Loud noises heard all throughout several states in Venezuela, notably in Caracas. I'm not sure what state that is in Venezuela. I don't know if it's the state of Caracas. But the Venezuelan government has condemned it as a very serious, grave military aggression and in contravention of UN charter, et cetera, et cetera. And interested what you think about this. 1-800-848-9222. Are you happy about this? Is this too interventionist for your MAGA blood? Or is this exactly...
And I remember Noriega when they went into Panama. He ran into the Vatican embassy and he was hiding out there for a few days. And the troops were waiting outside the Vatican embassy and they were playing heavy metal music 24/7. I remember that. Finally, he surrendered. He said, okay, I cannot hide here forever. And that's it. So that's what's going to happen. This guy, he had a chance to leave. He had a chance to leave. They told him, Trump told him, listen, I'm going to give you safe passage to wherever you want to go, you and your family. But you need to go. He said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I said, okay. Well, if you don't go now, you're not going to go. You're not going to get another chance to go. So, of course, you heard in the last 24 hours that he tried to, I want to make a business with the United States. That means he's feeling the heat. And then this happened. That means he already knew that people were deserting him. So right now, I would be surprised if this guy's hiding in another embassy right now. Or if he didn't leave the country, if he already didn't leave the country, maybe a, private, whatever boat, whatever, he went down the Amazon and went to like Brazil, somewhere like that. I don't know. Or Argentina. I don't know. Or Cuba. But if he didn't leave now, he's not going to leave. That's it. He's going to get caught. Oh, boy.
That's awesome. Yes.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, TJ.
Yeah, buddy, yeah.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
This is my sociological overview from my stoop on 10th Avenue.
All right. Live from the stoop. We got to come up with a sounder for you. When
Well,
you call
I
in.
gotta tell you, I'm gonna do it cheap. I have a
And I'm going to say one more thing about this, and I'm going to end. I'm not going to talk about this no more. Do you know why he's doing this also? Why do you think he's doing this also? I'll give you 1 minute to answer that question. Why you think overall he's doing this also? It's not only because of Venezuela. Why you think? Remember, think about the answer. I'll give you a couple of minutes, and I'll tell you what the answer is.
YouTube it.
Sure.
And he said, we will get you from within. And they have gotten us from within. Now, this is coming from a on a reprieve junkie alcoholic who's 42 years sober by the grace of God.
Amen.
They got us from within. I'm looking at these people since, and I got to tell you, the truth needs to be told. That, like Jack Nicholson, you need me on this wall. You want me on this wall. Because here's what's beginning to happen. I was watching this inauguration the other day, I'm going to call it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at Adams. I'm looking at de Blasio. It started with them. But Adams is a liar. Adams was Louis Farrakhan's bodyguard. Now all of a sudden, he's like Curtis used to say, he's getting wine, dine, and pocket line. Now all of a sudden, he loves Jewish people. De Blasio was sitting there like the crow that ate the crow. And what they did here, TJ, I'm so fired up. I'm so fired up.
Okay. There's another reason why he's doing this. You know what that reason is? Remember, Trump is a master showman. I'm going to repeat that. Excuse me. Trump is a master showman. So he's sending a message to the world that you're not going to fuck around with him, especially on this side of the globe. So he's sending that message to Russia and China. Because what he did with Iran, people thought he wasn't going to do that. But he shocked people. He said, wow, he's trying to make peace. But he said, if I have to, I'll bomb the shit out of Iran. And he did that. So he's doing this because Russia is giving him a hard time with the peace talks. So he's telling Russia, you ain't got nothing on this side of the globe. You got your hands full with Ukraine. You already got your hands full. A small country like Ukraine is giving you a hard time. A small country like Ukraine is giving you the fight of your life to Russia. And China's a paper tiger. I'm sorry. I'm sick of people saying China's a huge army. They're a fucking paper tiger. Okay, they doing this something. We're gonna take over Taiwan. It ain't gonna happen under Trump. It's not gonna happen. This is a message to those two countries that he ain't gonna fuck around. And if you fuck around, you're gonna find out. That's why he's doing this. That's why he's doing this too. He's doing this to send them a message and saying, yeah, if we have to kick your ass, we will kick your fucking ass. In terms of Russia and China. That's right. That's why he's doing this too. Hey, don't get it twisted, bro. Don't think he's doing it because of Venezuela. He's doing it because he's sending a message to the world, that we're not to be fucked with. That's it. Biden didn't do it. Now he's doing it. He's saying the buck stops here. That's it. All right? That's why he's doing it too. Okay? So that's another component to it. He's doing this shit to show the world, again, that he ain't fucking around. He ain't got nothing to lose, bro. This is the last term no matter what. And next year, there might be the midterm might go to the Democrats. If the Democrats win the midterms, he's not going to be able to do anything. They're going to fucking try to impeach him and all this bullshit. So he got everything he got to do. He got to do it this year, 2026. That's it. This is the last year he's going to do everything he needs to do, because in November, if they lose the House or the Senate or both, it's over. It's over for him. Because they're gonna be able to pass anything. In fact, they're gonna try to impeach him. They're gonna try to impeach the whole cabinet. They're gonna try to impeach. Okay? So the man's playing with house money. You understand? He's playing with house money. He's gonna do what he's gonna do now. That's it. And that's why he's doing it.
Deciding to move out of Gracie.
Now, of course, after he's gone, whoever gets elected, who don't know who, they're gonna go back to whatever, like Biden or whatever. God forbid doesn't happen, but it could happen. We become the world's, fucking pussy again. And so be it. But right now, no, we're the big dog. And that's what's gonna happen now. We're whipping out the whoopee stick. And that's what's happening.
Absolutely. And listen, the hand of God.
Mm-hmm.
The hand, and
there you go.
A guy like Trump is only one man.
Yeah.
Look what Trump is doing. Iran is in the street. You remember Tiananmen Square? Remember the guy standing in front of the tank?
Sure.
All right. Iran is in the street. The people in Venezuela, this is long overdue.
Yep.
And then you see all these politicians. Like, listen, I don't want to hear about Eric Adams or
right.
Bill de Blasio. There's something that was reported on the news today. They found in Greenpoint Cemetery 25 police uniforms.
Whoa.
Nobody's talking about it. It was on the news for 3 seconds. It was pulled.
Whoa.
25 police uniforms. The enemy is within. They're looking at us right here.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be vigilant, head on a swivel.
Yep.
The old thing, if you see something, say something. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're here. They're looking at us.
Yeah.
There's a deli in my neighborhood on 45th and 10th.
Uh-huh.
The guy's got a tattoo on his arm that says, "Death to Israel, death to the United States," on his arm.
Jesus.
And I said to him, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "It's our time."
Oh, my God.
Our time.
John, I got a boogie, brother, but thank you so much.
Well, it was like
thank you.
$50
What's
a
the name of
barrel.
what's the name of your book?
The name of my book is called Stoop to Conquer. My name is John Michael
Russia's going
Bolger.
broke.
It's Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Studio.
Russia is selling their cheap oil to even try to raise money to keep fighting Ukraine. Ukraine is kicking their ass. You understand that? It's 4 years of war now with Ukraine. They thought they were going to go in there and just take over Ukraine. Ukraine is giving them the fight of their life. They're like remember when Russia went into Afghanistan and they wanted to spend 10 years there and they had to leave with the tail between their legs. And that's the same thing that's happening right now. Ukraine is giving them the fight of their life. And Putin looks stupid right now. He looks stupid. Okay? And the more money Ukraine gets, they're just gonna keep kicking their ass. They will never take over all of Ukraine. They can't. They have no one left to fight. They had North Koreans come in and try to fight with them. And North Korea got slaughtered. North Korean fucking parade troops. Okay, these are, let me tell you something. When you watch all these stupid parades, like China and North Korea, those are not combat ready troops, okay? Let me tell you something about combat ready. Those are not combat ready trained troops. Those are all fucking parade troops. There's a big difference between our fucking army and the army in China or the army in North Korea. Our army's trained to fucking fight. Okay? So all these people, when they show these fucking pictures of, Chinese, they're all the same height and the same fucking look and all that shit. Okay? Give me a fucking break. That's a paper tiger. He's a paper tiger. Because I think it was like 10,000 Korean troops. They sent them over to Ukraine to fight with Russia. They didn't last a week. A week. They were captured, most of them. And some of them just fucking surrendered. They didn't last. Because marching in a parade and fighting in combat is two different things, bro. It's two different things. Okay? Our army is not trained to march on a parade. Our army is trained to fight. To fight. Okay? Remember that. Miggy, how do you like that? Digital version. There is no digital version. You talking about this radio? This radio is a piece of junk. I don't know what you're talking about. Digital version. Oh, you're talking about the one with the analog dial. Okay, I know what you mean. No, this is a piece of junk. This radio is too wide. I made a review about this radio. And I said it, I would never buy this radio. They sent me this radio for review, and I gave it a crappy review. It's like $50. It's way overpriced. The only thing this radio is good for is for listening to a strong signal like WABC, because that's a nice speaker. That's about it. But yeah, it's a piece of junk. I would never buy this radio. I would not even give this radio to anybody that was serious about radio. So yeah, I know you're talking about the analog dial one. Okay, I know which one you're talking about. I was confused for a minute. But this one is a piece of junk. It's just too wide. So yeah, so that's why he's doing this. He's sending them a message like, "Yo, you're not gonna fuck around with you're gonna make peace, or we're gonna give Ukraine a lot more money, and you're gonna have to fight them for the next 10 more years." And that's what's gonna happen. That's it. So Putin doesn't have a choice. Right now he's looking foolish. And he's trying to find a way out that he doesn't look that bad. But unfortunately, he just keep playing around. He doesn't want to do the peace deal. So be it. That's why he's doing all this. He's showing them that, listen, I'm serious about what I'm doing. And I mean, one thing we don't want to do, we don't want to put troops in Ukraine. That's one thing we don't want to do. But when the war is over, there is going to be some kind of peacekeeping force for now. Probably be more European. Hopefully not. Hopefully not even that. Hopefully not even NATO troops. But, listen, Russia got their hands full right now. China is not all that. People think China is, it's a paper tiger. I'm gonna say it. I watch a lot of stuff about China. They have a lot of cities that are empty. They call them abandoned cities, ghost cities. Okay, and all their military stuff is all copied by us. They copied everything, and it's nothing like what we have. I heard they got more warships than us. Diesel warship. You cannot compare a diesel warship to a nuclear submarine. I'm sorry, you cannot compare the two. The technology is too advanced for what we have. Okay? And by the way, the United States has bases all over the world. Even right there in Taiwan. We have bases all over the world. China does not have bases all over the world. So if we were to go to war with China, we will win. We will kick their ass. If it was a serious conflict, we would kick their ass. Okay? So we have bases all over the world, so we can launch attacks from anywhere. So don't get it twisted, people. People think that, China's a superpower. They're a paper tiger. Okay? End of story.
27 WABC news updates around the clock, like on weekends. We dance to the music with Gus and Brucey. And so much more. 77 WABC.
Yes, that radio, I want to recommend that radio for anybody.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk Studios, here's TJ McCormack.
It's only good. I really like the music. Because they have a little music. I know I'm going to get copyright anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah, this radio, I would not recommend this radio at all. First of all, it's $50. It's too expensive. AM radio, yeah, a strong signal. It sounds good, and that's it. That's the only thing I would. The only thing, but it's not worth $50, and everything else. FM is okay, but again, not worth $50.
I don't believe it.
Okay, I gotta lower it again because I'm copyright. By the way, they hit me with copyright for New Year's Eve, and it was because of the ball drop. I got hit with copyright. So, I can't win with YouTube. No matter what I put up, I get copyright. They just copyright everything I do now. So. What are you going to do?
Good morning, gang. Good morning. Good
All right.
morning. It is another Side of Midnight with
All right.
TJ.
Let me take a little
McCormick
break.
on the Red Apple Audio Network's broadcast.
I'm exhausted now explaining
Not
people
from Liverpool,
what's going on.
Kingdom anymore, no.
So, enjoy the show.
Back in New
Smash the
York
like button.
City in the studios of 77 WABC, the flagship, the largest, the greatest,
history lesson.
the biggest, the baddest, the best, the most wonderful, the most
fucking up my
glorious,
butts.
glowing talk radio station in all the land, in all the history of talk radio. And oh my God, I get to be a part of it. 1-800-848-9222 for you to be a part of it. And we are talking about the breaking news out of Venezuela this morning, where it seems that, the U.S. the administration has in fact confirmed that we're over there. It hasn't been confirmed that we've got boots on the ground, but reports are that we've got special forces that have infiltrated. That would explain the Chinooks as opposed to just high-flying, bombing run or something like that. It's not just bombers or drones or something. But, in fact...
That's why I know, bro. That's why. Let me one more thing I'm going to say about it. And that's why I know, bro. I'm a military historian. When they say Chinook helicopter, those are transport helicopters. Those carry troops. So when they had Chinook helicopters, that means they got special forces in there. That means they're going to get him. I called it here first, people. So all you people out there that doubt my knowledge, think again. I'm a military historian. Okay?
3 now. It's early morning hours of the third day of the People's Republic of New York.
I know my weaponry and all that.
Leader Zohran Mamdani.
Air Force for 8 years.
And Marianne says another one of Adams' EOs, that executive orders that Zohran revoked, quote, a requirement that the police chief evaluate rules about protests outside houses of worship that Adams issued last month after an anti-Israel rally at a Manhattan synagogue. Marianne says, I already hate this guy. Catherine says that she's a fan of the action right now in Venezuela. She says she's sure that the citizens of Venezuela are not enjoying being starved to death under Maduro and his repressive regime. She said it's also a shot across the bow towards the Iranian government. And Catherine makes a great point. Something that John in Hell's Kitchen was just mentioning. He mentioned Iran. The people are starting to move. And by the way, herein lies the difference between Trump and our previous great leader, Barack Hussein Obama, who walked away just when you thought the Iranian people were going to finally topple that repressive Islamic Revolution regime
Junior,
there.
hello.
Just when they were gaining momentum, not only did Obama just sort of, sneeze, cough, and look the other way and just start, shooting hoops, but that was right around the time where he sent them a ton of dough to not develop nuclear weapons, or whatever the hell. Yeah.
That worked out.
Trump will absolutely support in many, many ways. You just know he's ready to roll with those people. If they show the initiative, if they show the gumption, if they show the bravery to stand up, and it looks like they are, because they're on the march, literally marching in Iran and protesting, which is really taking your life in your hands, especially women, especially gays. If they show that kind of backbone and fierce determination, Trump's going to back them. Whereas Obama sent the regime cash, literally sent them cash. Trump going to back the revolution against the revolution. Obama gave money to the bad guys. Literally gave money to the bad guys. It's like a punchline of like a weird dystopian joke.
Welcome to USA Radio.
1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222.
Nothing like it. That's for sure.
Felix is Felix. Oh my God, listen to me. Joaquin is over there on X as well. He liked the opening of the show, our homage to the Russian regime. And so everybody's over there. Everybody's over there, and they are listening and active and a part of this. And thank you so much, gang, for being a part of it. 1-800-848-9222. And let's go over to Chris in the Catskills. Chris, good morning. Welcome to Another Side.
Hey, good morning, TJ.
Hi.
Great documentary on the Gallagher brothers made like about 20 years ago on Oasis.
Supersonic.
It's very well produced. Check it out.
Yep.
So, in regards to Mondami.
Yes, sir.
My congresswoman is a socialist. She got elected 3.5 years ago. Moved to the country from Nepal. She met Mondami while she was attending college and post-college years in New York City.
Really?
Working in the computer industry. Sarah Hannah Sreska.
Oh, I've heard.
Moved
Okay.
with her partner to a Sopus. And he encouraged her to run for assembly. And he helped guide her campaign. They're both campaigning geniuses, but she ended up taking out a long-time, original progressive, Kevin Cahill, who had been in the New York State Assembly out at Kingston, New York for he served two different stints, a total of 12 terms.
A run-of-the-mill progressive.
She beat him. He had become complacent, but he brought a lot of pork to the district, and then they redistricted, and they put him in my town. He got in a battle with the Democratic committee in my town that's filled with a bunch of lunatics, which caused me a lot of problems as an elected official. And so I ran into her in the Kingston Public Library, and I gave her a suggestion. I had actually supported a woman that primary challenged her that was a family member of had worked for Cahill and Skoufis as an aide.
Oh, okay.
And she absolutely, she he held the debate was very evenly matched. I mean, Cahill mopped up the floor with Sarah Hanna in a debate in my town put on by our committee. But Sarah Hanna learned how to debate in a couple of years, but she crushed this woman 2-1 in the primary. So, you know, Mondami, I was telling Dominic Carter that, you know, term limits are going to be the only thing that takes him out because he's a campaign genius. And the thing is, you know, that New York City, the Democratic Party in New York City doesn't have a George Latimer on the bench in New York. And Mondami isn't Jamal Bowman. You know, Jamal Bowman's a putz, okay?
Jamal Bowman, Jamal Bowman's an embarrassment.
No, and George Latimer, see, I'm a policy wonk Democrat, and unfortunately, you know, I'm not into these ideological movements. But, you know, hopefully, you know, I don't know, hopefully Mondami, there's a difference between being an administrator with a very important job and being a legislator, you know. And
well, Chris, tell me, and as a legislator in a supermajority safety, you know, rocking chair that he was, you know, this lunatic, he either passed one bill or couldn't quite pass. I think he passed one bill in his time there, which when you're sitting in a massive supermajority and you only pass one bill, and he was also basically persona non grata. He was rarely there in chambers. Let me ask you this. George Latimer, who is, for anybody's not familiar, he's a congressman out of Westchester and the North Bronx. Here in New York, and the guy has never lost a race. He has never, ever lost an election, and he's good. But here's the thing. I'm curious, Chris. Do you think that if Latimer were to be at this point now, because it's different now, you said Bowman, Bowman's an idiot, and, you know, a ham sandwich could beat Bowman, Jamal Bowman, the idiot, but anti-Semite himself, actually, and racist. But Bowman, it's a different time now. Now the true crazy far left progressives are firmly ensconced. Do you think a guy like Latimer, if some lunatic AOC type wanted to primary him, do you think he'd be vulnerable, or does he have enough Westchester to knock that out?
Well, I think, here's the thing. I think George Latimer and James Skoufis are like your policy wonk Democrats in Southern New York.
Yeah.
And I think the districts, like Skoufis is the most prolific campaigner in the state of New York. You know, if he's a dynamite debater, if you've ever seen him debate. If he represents districts that are like plus 14, plus 15 Zeldin. And somehow he
makes it through. Yep.
Yeah, and he's strong on constituent services. I don't agree with some of the bills he puts up, like banning the independent party, banning the use of the word independent or independence for a line. He does intelligent, crafty things like putting up legislation to rename the Tappan Zee Bridge the Tappan Zee Bridge and withdraws it. Very clever, but very self-serving too.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, Skoufis is a bit of a...
Yeah, they're talking about local stuff. But yeah, Latimer, he was the county executive here in Westchester County. He's a Democrat, of course. Before that, when I moved here, it was Rob Astorino, a Republican. And he was good. And then Latimer beat him. So Latimer, he's a Democrat. I'm going to say in Westchester County, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't crazy. You know, he was a moderate. And of course, he 2 terms, Westchester County. And then he went on to, like he just said, now he's a congressman. So, yeah, so Latimer is you know, he's, you know, of course, you know, people don't know who Latimer is. He's legally blind in one eye. He has like he's kind of like, you know, I know he's legally blind in one eye. But the guy, he moderate. He was not that, you know, 2-term county executive here in Westchester County, and he was okay. He was no problem. He wasn't radical or anything like that. So yeah, there's not that many moderate Democrats left, and he's one of them. I gotta say that. So he mentioned that, kudos to him. Because I lived under Latimer. I'm here in Westchester County. He was my county executive for 2 terms, and it was okay. He actually was tough on crime. Believe it or not, he was. So,
endorsement told the Working Families Party that if he lost the primary, he would give up the WFP line. He didn't, and then he ended up getting a Republican, Independent, Conservative, Working Family, and then he crushed the guy that beat him in the Democratic primary.
Chris,
then he went on to be a town supervisor, and he still served.
Well, Chris, listen, we're going to keep you close as this year unfolds, because you'll be a cool resource for because it's an even year voting now. So there are supervisors and council people and legislators all throughout New York State that have to run again rather than serve a whole long term, because New York State passed a law where all elections are going to be in even years. Wow. And there's a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, that's another thing they passed. All elections are going to be in even years. So it's going to be crazy now. For example, over here in Yonkers, we have Mike Spano. He's a Democrat. Originally, he was a Republican that switched over to Democrat just to win the mayorship here in Yonkers. He's a 4-term mayor. This is 4th term now. 4 terms, Mike Spano. This is last term, though, because Hochul, I think, tapped him to be the lieutenant governor after Delgado leaves. So next year, when Hochul runs against Delgado, I believe Spano is going to be the lieutenant governor. If she wins the next one, I believe. So we're going to have a new mayor no matter what here in Yonkers. But Mike Spano, 4-term mayor. Not too many 4-term mayors in this country. He's one of them, 4 terms. That's 16 years, people. That's a lot of years. He was here when I moved here. And he's still the mayor of the city, Mike Spano. And his wife is Mary Calvi, by the way. His wife is, she's an anchor in CBS, Channel 2 CBS. She is the first lady of this city, Mary Calvi. So he's married to Mary Calvi. So for those of you that don't know that, so Mike Spano is, 4-term mayor here in Yonkers. Mary Calvi is the first lady of our city. She is the anchor on CBS New York, Channel 2 News. Mary Calvi. That's our first lady, by the way.
Let's remember now, he doesn't want to throw anybody in jail. You know, all these housing projects he talked about, we call them, I know people use the name of the project. A lot of the problems are caused by people who live in the project, who rob and steal copper wires, copper plumbing, and people are calling up, hey, we got to know, the boiler is down, right? Because they robbed all the wires and the copper pipes. Now, federal money goes into those projects.
Yeah.
I think before all is said and done, and more will be said than done, I think the Grand Orange is going to be the biggest landowner in New York City again, because
the Grand Orange.
Trump is going to go after them with HUD. HUD money is going into those projects. All kinds of money goes into NYCHA from the federal, billions of dollars. I mean, we know they're robbing, it's being robbed blind, but also all the problems in those projects are caused by either criminality, scams, welfare scams. So that looks like, I don't think Mandani knows exactly what he's gotten into. But the problem, obviously, is 85% of the people who voted for him are foreign-born. Most of these federal judges who vote against Trump are foreign-born. I hear this one guy, this one guy calls it, he's turning Bondi into that clown from, the guy with the COVID vaccine and everything. Mm-hmm. He's turning everything. But listen, in Virginia, they put all the hardcore evidence in front of a grand jury, and they would not indict James, okay? It's not Bondi's fault. So you got misinformation or you're supplying misinformation about bonding. They would not indict James for that. And all the evidence was put there. You know why? Because most of the people on the grand jury are foreign-born people who gained citizenship, just like in Washington, D.C. With the January 6th, those people were treated horrible.
Yeah.
Those people were outrageously treated by people who were judges, federal judges, local judges who are foreign-born, and grand juries who are foreign-born.
Right.
All right? So if you're going to call up and condemn bonding, you better get your evidence and everything in place and know everything that's going on here, because then you are spreading misinformation.
Right.
And let me just finish up with this.
Finish up there, Andy. Finish up on a high note.
Listen, we love you, TJ. Listen,
I love you too.
There's a lot of reports going on. Now that freak, that Venezuelan freak who murdered Laken Riley, there are reports that it's possible he was strapped to one of the missiles that landed in Venezuela. Home sweet home.
All right, dude. Thank you, Andy. And want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill, who an hour and a half into the breaking news said, "You watching the news? Are you talking about this? We're bombing Venezuela." Thank you, buddy. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. So we're talking a little bit about day 3 of the People's Republic. We're talking a lot about the current news out of Venezuela, which is that we have confirmed that we are performing these strikes against Venezuela. No confirmation about special forces being on the ground, but those are the reports. And so the question for y'all is, if you are a MAGA, how does this strike you as a MAGA? Are you, is this the Trump doctrine, making America safe again, making America healthy again, intervening on the drug trade, deposing a bad guy in our hemisphere, in our backyard?
Yep.
That makes us safer, that makes us healthier, right? It makes us, it potentially puts us in a position to do some business with a now really big and hopefully now a friendly nation, and that hopefully that would lead to more friendly behavior from places like Colombia and other South American neighbors down there. And so, actually, let me do this before we take a break. Let's go. Michael has a really interesting question that was right in the back of my skull, and I'm wondering the same thing. So, Michael in Wisconsin, good morning. What's your thought on this?
Yeah, it was not in the back of your skull. You thought of it because I posed the question.
No, I forgot all about this. You know why, too? Because I forgot her name. And I wanted to be smart about it, but then I forgot, and then we just kept doing the show, and so I'm glad that you called with this, Michael.
Right, I want to ask about
how did I lose a like? I had 8 likes, now I got 7. Nah, yo, people are stingy with the likes, man. Come on, man. Damn, yo. Yeah, sensitive like that, bro. What the hell, man? Come on.
The popular vote, but, of course, that and $1 will get you thrown in jail in Venezuela.
My likes are going backwards,
whether or not she was consulted, I mean, wouldn't it be the coolest damn thing for Trump to come in?
Man.
Yeah, not this guy out, the Trump who was denied the
at least over there, I
Peace
some
Prize.
people challenging me.
Not this despot out, and Trump help oversee the installation of the woman who did win the prize and gave him all the props when she received her Nobel Peace Prize.
Right, and I am not for. I'm 20-year Navy retired, and I'm not for the so-called regime change. I mean, pushed by us.
Right.
I hope that's not what's pushing this. Because I have mixed feelings about. I voted for Trump all 3 times and the primaries, and I am in support of blowing the boats out of international water.
Oh, okay.
The narco boat.
Huh.
But I'm mixed feelings on actually
Regime
striking.
change.
Yeah, definitely against that, pushed by us. But I'm kind of iffy on striking Venezuelan land. And I sure hope, I know we're not sure yet, but I sure hope we don't have American boots on the ground there.
It's really interesting, Michael. I'm really, really glad that you called, because you are exactly what was on my mind driving the questions for the calls, which was, are you a Trump supporter that, that this does this check the boxes for Trump supporters? Does this not check the box? Interventionist, yes or no? Peace through strength, is that what this is? Is it peace breaking out all over the world this way? So, yeah, you are exactly where I was going with this. And so it's interesting. And add that layer of you being a veteran, that just puts the icing on the cake. It's interesting that you're cool with knocking out the boats. You're cool with that in even absent hard evidence that they're necessarily running drugs?
I'm sure we have people there like CIA agents and such. So I don't think it's just on a whim.
Right.
And I agree that,
certainly not.
Hegseth, or the Department of War Secretary, these are not fishing boats. There's no fishing poles or,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's always true. The true Ronald Reagan war on drugs.
Yeah.
This is truly, a war on drugs.
It is.
But again, I just go, take a step back when we start hitting Venezuela land.
You know what? And by the way, and this is the other thing that I like about you, and I like about where I stand politically, the people that I rub shoulders with, people like you, who are nuanced. And I just referred to a buddy of mine named Bill, who refers this way. He was a never Trumper at one point, and as he puts it now, he just calls balls and strikes, because he likes the way, it's a different time now, it's a different era, it's not 2016, 17, 18. And he calls balls and strikes. And I think that's the way a lot of Trump supporters approach Trump and the administration and the choices that they make. And it sounds to me like you're calling balls and strikes. And you're not like someone on the left who is just a lemming and a sheep and just going to just follow and be told what to do and where to go and who to vote for, and then sit down and shut the hell up. I'm proud of the fact that we have some intellectual honesty on the conservative side of the aisle.
Yeah, and I know I'm just low man on a totem pole, politics and, world stage.
You're the most important person in it. You're the most important person in it, dude. You are. You and me and every other person involved in this. We're the voters.
But I'm not the hit 'em guy.
Right.
Or, calling them a strike or a ball.
Right.
Because I know, with Kosovo, with Mogadishu, with Yugoslavia, one time we are friends with a country, now we're enemies. One time we're supporting a country, now we're fighting in it. So politics and world stage is way above my pay grade.
Michael, you're awesome, brother. I'm really glad you called. I got to get to this break. I apologize for that, but thank you for making the show better. I really do appreciate it. Great stuff from Michael in Wisconsin. All right, gang, taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll take another look at what's happening in Venezuela. We'll talk to Alice, Will, Chris, Robert, and we go into the third hour. Here on...
Can I put on the BBC World Service, see if I can pick it up right here.
Proof that the show has cross-generational people. If you have to sum up, what's in it for you watching Stranger Things?
See, this tuning is horrible.
I love just getting to grow up with the kids. I mean, they're all my age. I'm like a month older than...
Good morning, RRT08. I hope you're doing well, you and your family.
They're all really good friends.
And for your generation, Daryl, what's the great thing about Stranger Things?
I grew up in the 80s, so it's very much
my childhood that's being depicted here, and that's kind of been the appeal to our podcast as well. I'm coming at it from, hey, I recognize these kids on bikes whose parents don't know where they are, who are inspired by horror films and are just living their best life in the 80s, and so that was my childhood.
Have you got a favorite scene, Daryl?
My favorite scene, and it's hard to choose, there's so many epic scenes in this series, but I go back to how the show started, how the show hooked me in. In that very first episode, The Vanishing of Will Byers, we see...
Because they're talking whatever.
In rant, telling him on social media to seek help. Cohen has mocked Adams' time in office during CNN's New Year's Eve Live just hours before Adams officially left City Hall. The exchange comes as Zohran Mamdani takes over as New York's new mayor. A simple device could stop car thieves cold. Drivers are being urged to install kill switches as auto thefts continue to surge nationwide.
I knew it was gone.
That's Natalie Linez remembering when her Jeep was stolen from an LA street, but she posted the advice she got from police on social media.
They said to get a kill switch.
Mayor Barsano at Simon Stereo explains.
It prevents the car from starting unless you know how to disable the kill switch.
That kill switch is hidden from thieves, and only you and the shop that installed it know where it is.
Allison Keyes reporting. It's 25 degrees going up to 32 in Midtown. Now Bloomberg Money Watch.
Across the world, many people brought in the new year with a glass of wine. And for a rising number, that wine was rosé.
We have to remove the formalities. We have to make wine fun again.
Donnie Burston is founder and CEO of rosé maker Lafette Wine Company, which has been trying to break out of what a lot of people think of when they think of the typical rosé drinker.
A lot of brands ran after that sort of Real Housewives sort of scenario. But what we're seeing is we're really opening up the umbrella and bringing everyone into the fold.
And Burston does mean everyone.
We wanted to bring in more men, more people of color.
And perhaps the biggest challenge,
a lot of young consumers are not choosing to drink alcoholic beverages, but they're looking and they're consuming with intention.
That means sellers need to move away from fads.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. Yeah, manual transmission. Because most people don't know how to ride stick.
Dinner.
Or the turning of the calendar. Amanda O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
This is Alex Shulman.
And this is J.J. Hill of Shulman & Hill, New York's premier injury law firm.
We'll always fight for you if you're injured at a construction site.
If you've ever wished you had a lawyer in the family, now you will.
At Shulman & Hill, it's never one and done. Once you're a client, you're always part of our family.
We'll always go the extra mile for you.
New Yorkers in every borough and on every block know us by name. Shulman & Hill.
Get your free consultation at hurtny.com. That's hurtny.com.
What does a teddy bear dream of? A teddy bear dreams of a best friend that tucks them in at night and wakes them up in the morning, who they share laughs and do very secret secrets with. A best friend who they grow up with. What teddy bears don't dream of is being left alone, outside in the rain, in a shrine for school shooting victims who could have been their best friends.
School shootings are preventable. Learn the warning signs at sandyhookpromise.org.
The fight against lymphoma, leukemia, and myeloma calls for the experience and skill of world-renowned experts. As New Jersey's only nationally ranked cancer program by U.S. News and World Report, John Thurr Cancer Center at Hackensack and Jersey Shore University Medical Centers offer innovative treatments close to home. Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Donato, and I lead the stem cell transplantation and cellular therapy teams in Hackensack and Neptune. We're proud to be pioneers in our field and the most experienced team in the region, having performed over 8,000 stem cell transplants. We were the first accredited center in New Jersey to offer CAR T-cell therapy, a revolutionary treatment that harnesses the power of your own immune system to recognize and destroy cancer cells. This is more than advanced care. It's personalized, life-saving treatment from distinguished experts at New Jersey's best cancer program. Call 833-CANCER-MD to schedule an appointment. That's 833-CANCER-MD.
Hey,
Hey family, Larry Mullins here. Safavia's once-a-year 50% off New Year's Friends and Family sale is here. This is your only chance to save 50% off MSRP on special order and in-stock furniture. Safavia's brand new 2026 collection of living rooms, dining rooms, and bedrooms are in their stores and on sale right now. You have just a few days to save 50% off MSRP on special order and in-stock furniture. Beautiful designer rugs, accessories, art, lighting, and more. Save big on brands like Baker, Bernhard, Century, Lee, Vanguard, and many, many more, plus thousands of Safavia designer rugs. Safavia's New Year's Friends and Family sale only happens once a year and lasts for a few days and ends on January 4th. To save 50% off MSRP on special order and in-stock furniture, Safavia with locations in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Find your nearest showroom at SafaviaHome.com. Hurry! Safavia's once-a-year New Year's Friends and Family sale ends on January 4th.
City streets or small towns, everyone deserves a clean, green community. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify communities. Let's do beautiful things. Visit KAB.org.
We're going to have some sun early, clouds increasing later today. A few late day flurries can't be ruled out. Tomorrow, the sun will return with breezy conditions, still below normal with a high of 38 degrees.
WINS FM in HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Phil Pilato is at the editor's desk.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good morning. It's 25 degrees at 4 o'clock on Saturday, January 3rd. I'm Darius Ramses, and here's what's happening. Mamdani defends his decision to scrap Adams' orders. Traffic deaths drop citywide in 2025. Body cam captures Suffolk officers' risky ice rescue of an 8-year-old. Flu cases climb fast as hospitalizations set a new state record. A high-profile artist becomes the latest to pull out of a Kennedy Center event. And today it's brisk winter-like Saturday with clouds building with a few flurries, possible late, going up to 32 degrees today. And in sports, Rangers roar past the Panthers, but the Knicks got clipped by Atlanta. Washington runs past the Nets. With you, it's time 4:01. Now let's get you to where you need to go. Here's Liam Flynn.
Big trouble in New Jersey on the northbound New Jersey Turnpike. This is after the eastern and western spurs kind of merge in Ridgefield. There is a split for westbound Route 80 or the GWB and 46. You want to stay with the GWB and 46. You could exit off at Route 46 and use that as an alternate to Route 80. But those lanes that send you to 80 are closed with an accident investigation. Again, the northbound New Jersey Turnpike in Ridgefield after the Vince Lombardi service area. If you are going to merge, you want to merge to the right and get over to 46 in the GWB and take 46 westbound as an alternate. And here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels across the Hudson River. We are delay free at the Holland and Lincoln tunnels, and both levels of the George Washington Bridge are doing fine for us. And here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. The Southern State, Northern State, and the Long Island Expressway are all moving well for us. Liam Flynn, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, the bitter cold still has a grip on us. Cold air stays locked in all weekend, but it is January. AccuWeather's LaTroy Thornton has the updates.
After a cold December with temperatures about 5 degrees below the historical average in Central Park, this first weekend of the new year doesn't look half bad. It will be cold again, nothing new there, and this pattern that's been hard to shake for weeks now, with today bringing in some sun to start before clouds build ahead of the next storm reaching the tri-state, with a high close to freezing in the city and the risk for some flurries at night, mainly later at night. That leads to a drier Sunday with more sunshine, but a bit of a breeze develops during the day with highs again stuck in just the low to mid-30s for Midtown.
Mayor Mamdani pushed back against criticism after revoking a series of executive orders from former Mayor Eric Adams, among them a directive focused on fighting anti-Semitism.
Mayor Mamdani is making it clear.
Protecting Jewish New Yorkers is going to be a focus of my administration.
But there was a specific reason he chose to end every executive order Mayor Adams signed after his indictment.
A moment when many New Yorkers lost even more faith in New York City politics and the ability of city government to actually prioritize the needs of the public.
Mamdani says many Jewish organizations were concerned about adopting.
Trump is no longer part of the shows, and Disney.
She's such great stuff.
Venezuela's oil reserves. The president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, says Bogota rejects unilateral military escalation and he called for de-escalation. He's also ordered measures to protect the population in border areas and prepare for possible influx of Venezuelans. BBC News. National security advisors from 15 of Ukraine's allies are meeting in Kyiv to discuss the next steps towards an agreement to end Russia's invasion. EU and NATO representatives will also attend, with a US delegation joining via video. President Zelensky said 90% of a potential peace deal had been agreed with US negotiators, but he warned it will take time to identify them. Officials say they have a specialized team that's fully installed, dental workers and clothing. Fox's Stephanie Bennett reports the drugs supported by the UAE in its first public comment since the separatists announced plans for an independence referendum. The UAE urged all Yemenis to exercise restraint and pursue dialogue. Iranian officials say
homeowner. And if you're headed to the grocery store, good news for dinner. The Commerce Department is slashing tariffs on 13 Italian pasta exporters.
That's Fox Business Network. The Iranian authorities have hit back at Mr. Trump's threat, saying US intervention would spread regional chaos. The AI chatbot Grok says it's working to fix safeguarding after users reported it was generating sexually explicit content of minors. Since unveiling a picture editing feature last month, it's been fulfilling users' requests for clothing to be digitally removed. Taylor Lorenz is a technology journalist.
xAI, which is the company that is producing Grok, which Elon Musk owns, they have not responded at all about any of this. Elon Musk has encouraged this type of thing. He's laughed at this non-consensual type of imagery. And the only official response so far that we've seen from xAI, which oversees Grok, is just an automatic reply to press emails that says...
All right, I'm going to switch. I'm going to put the 808 up here. Let me put the 808. This radio sucks at 820.
And this time in BBC OS Conversations, we're bringing together astronauts to share their experiences of living and working in space. If you were born after November 2000, for your entire life there has always been someone living up in space.
The first crew of the International Space Station has reached their home.
That first crew arrived at the International Space Station 25 years ago. And since then, almost 300 people from some 20 nations have visited the orbiting lab. Later, as the United States begins its return to the moon for the first time in over 50 years, we will discuss what the future holds for humans in space. But first, two astronauts who have lived on the ISS have been sharing their experiences with my colleague James Reynolds. British European Space Agency astronaut Tim Peake launched the space station 10 years ago, where he lived for 6 months. And NASA astronaut Nicole Stott flew space twice, spending over 4 days in orbit.
Felt like I was coming to home when I got there, almost immediately. And of course you adapt, right? You are floating and you're adapting to this new environment. But there's something to getting used to moving in 3 dimensions and floating and flying and having that extraordinary view out the window. It's like nothing else.
Nicole said, I felt comfortable. It just feels...
Can't believe 820 is like this in here.
The crew and the working environment. But there was a really special moment when we had a crew changeover. And we went from 6 people on board, which feels quite busy. It's not cramped or claustrophobic. There's plenty of room for 6. But 3 crew members went down, and for 2 weeks, there were just 3 of us on board. Then I think it felt like home. It was so quiet. So for me, that was a very special moment.
One of the things that's really nice about the space station is that we each have our own individual crew compartment. It's about the size of one of those red phone booths there in the UK, and surprisingly, plenty of space. In a lot of ways, it feels like a very sterile place, you know, white walls, cables, that kind of thing. But when you would float by somebody's crew compartment, you could see kind of their personal touch on it. And when you moved from one section of the space station to another, like through the U.S. modules and the Japanese and European, they had kind of the same feel to them. And then you would float into the Russian modules, and they had on the walls this, it's almost like the pile side, the soft side of Velcro, you know, like carpet on the wall. And it gave you this, I don't know, this kind of cozy, your grandmother's house feel to it. It's what I always thought about when I went in there. It was like, wow, this is nice, soft, and comfy in here.
Yeah, and I remember the Russian segment, that was around the galley table as well, where we would always have our Friday evening meals. And there was a poster of Yuri Gagarin, but there was also a poster of just a field with a lone green tree in it. Beautiful summer's day and bright green grass and a lovely tree in full bloom, and everybody went ended up staring at this poster. That's what we really miss up there. You miss nature, you miss greenery, you miss being surrounded by what the earth has to offer.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it over here.
Better decoration,
Well,
if
here's
you
much
will,
better.
than the view out the window. And I think we're blessed with that presence of Earth out the window so beautifully, so stunning. And like that picture on the wall that you mentioned, the lone tree in the summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it over here. So let me lower this down.
The way we're appreciating nature is through the experience we've had with it.
I'm gonna put it right here.
We have of it through our lives here on Earth, and knowing that that's part of who we are. And I always remember floating in front of the window and looking out of it and being stunned every time, but feeling like I was experiencing it with the mute button on. You know, the only sounds
over
of
here.
Earth that you had were the ones of yourselves and not of what might be going on down on the planet at the time.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful way of putting it, Nicole. You don't really need any other posters when you look out the window, either direction.
In any house here on Earth, there's always someone wandering around the house looking for something they've lost. Did that ever happen to you guys on the space station?
A lot. Yeah, I think that's part of the adaptation there, is because just like you, everything floats, right? And you want it to just float right there in front of you and stay in front of you. So staying organized is a lot more difficult up there. Velcro is your friend. It's all over us. And I mean that literally. Our pants have Velcro strips on them, the walls, everything, your pen. So there's a real deliberateness that needs to go into keeping track.
No, they are lower power, WNYC, but in the basement, the water heater, plus that radio is junk, and over there there's a little noise. It's always noisy over there. So right here, you can hear it's much better. Much better.
And they've been drawn towards the return air grid. All the air is circulating down there. So when we go to vacuum the air grids and clean out all the dust from
So
there,
it is lower power in the evening.
I see.
I believe it's 10,000 watts. But I think at night, it might be a little lower, but
in close quarters with other human
I think it's just,
how then do you deal with that?
it's more about the basement.
When does someone's eccentric something or other become slightly annoying, and then how do you deal with that?
Oh man, I think the training that we do and the time we spend together here on Earth is really important. And the way we do that training, it's common across all of the crews. So everybody is figuring out how to live with each other and
There's still holiday lights out there, by the
when
way.
they're not necessarily feeling their best, and you start to recognize a little bit of
There's still holiday
subtleties in other people's
my neighbor still got the holiday lights
with our own family and friends, I think. Tim, I don't know about you guys, but we made a real point of just deciding that we would confront each other, and I mean that in a positive way.
By next week, it'll be better.
When we saw something or heard something that didn't sound
I'm
quite
taking
right.
down
And
mine. I'm going to take down later on
that
today.
often. I really didn't feel like we were having to manage that kind of thing, because everyone was loving their time and opportunity to be
Really good in
that
Iowa.
place. So I don't know. You just find a way.
Yeah. No,
You getting this station in Iowa?
There are other things that are stressful and difficult.
H20?
You're
Wow.
working extremely hard. We're up there to work hard. That's the point. That's our job. But, you know, and there's lots of cargo operations going. There might be upcoming spacewalks. There might be changes of schedule going on.
But the
820, you
actual
get in
part
Iowa?
of living and working with other crew members in close proximity, that was never a source of stress. And like Nicole said, we all agreed to talk about these things, to be very open and honest and upfront if something was bothering us. And genuinely,
I think it's 10,000 watts.
Absolutely well. And the only time that there's a potential for any conflict, I think, is when new crew come and old crew go, and you have a changeover and a mix of personalities. And if you're arriving on the space station, you just have to, integrate into the ways that things are. But I've never heard of any crew having any problems with that.
What do you do on your time off?
I don't know about you guys, Tim, but most of the time that's free is spent in front of a window. Just floating in front of the window and experiencing Earth out there, sharing that with your teammates, becoming a better photographer if you weren't one before because you want to capture that experience. It's stunning in so many ways. And then we all have our special things we do. We bring, I think, the human spaceflight with us to space. I had the chance to paint while I was there, and it absolutely...
Let me turn around and see one.
At Clint. Think about the Mahdi. And
today before more clouds build in. It's a cold weekend in store with a high of 32 later today. Then a cloudy Saturday night brings some light snow late. Perhaps accumulating up to or coating to a inch with a low of 24. Following any flurries left over Sunday morning, some sun does return, especially late in the day with highs right around 30. Then over from Monday with sun giving way to cloud once again, high 23. I'm IC weather meteorologist LaTroy Thornton, WCBC Boston News Radio.
Nice. Yeah, I know. For those in here, awesome radio. Yeah, DS286. Oh my God. Let me put the loop on a little bit.
Good morning, I'm Al Griffith, and here's what's happening. Police are investigating after a person fell to their death from a hotel on Boylston Street in Boston. Now, this happened at around 9:40 on Wednesday night at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Part of Boylston Street was closed down following that incident. And there's an avian mystery in Dedham after a grizzly...
I need to put my glasses on. Sorry. Let me switch the display to
Animal control getting the word out and looking for answers says investigators think the birds were dumped at the reservation between the 27th and 28th last weekend. They're trying to identify who may have been responsible and linked to state law that deals with littering. It did not say how many birds were found or what kind, other than domestic. Anyone with information is asked to from police. Madison Rogers, WBC, Boston News Radio.
The day of advance is celebrating the start of her second term with skating at the Frog Farm. It's the first of two free skating sessions to mark Inauguration Week. Boston Amanda Shellew handed out treats and skated herself here at the Common.
Whether it's free ice skating or roller skating or time together with our seniors or free story time with the library, it's just an incredibly humbling honor to be able to serve your city.
It's a relief for families to have a free activity at the tail end of winter break. Possible hot cocoa.
Anything anyone wants to do to help support free child care or youth child care in the city would be great.
There's another free skating session in Dorchester this week also.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna try this one. My homemade loop. Here we go.
Down 26% and 20% respectively from the year earlier. Rate and assaults per rate were up 6%, but increased raw numbers in just 1 year. Going up as much as we thought. Going out from WGB.
whopping 92% tariffs on more than a dozen Italian pasta makers, likely but now those tariffs will be much less, anywhere from 2 to 14%. We have Italy, we have Linguini, we have gnocchi, we have says they used to import a lot of pasta, but have recently changed course. So we're really selling one of the homemade pasta, 7 in the house, but now we have Italian flour to make their pasta.
Here you go. So this one is not tuned. This one, unfortunately, when I made it, it's only tuned for 1 megahertz and up. You try to take advantage.
The investigation is still ongoing, but authorities in Switzerland say they believe that celebratory sparklers once used in Top Shelf Springs was a nightclub fire that ultimately led to the deaths of 40 people. New Year's Eve fire at the House Bar dozens more to get hurt. Eyewitnesses say it was a chaotic scene as people were scrambling once the flames got out of control.
Officials now confirming that 119 people are injured, most of them in a serious condition, many of them Swiss, and they the injured have not yet been identified, and that gives you a sense of how badly burnt and injured some people are. No indication at this stage that any US nationals are amongst the injured.
Here you go, Iowa right there. There you go. 1040 out of Iowa. WHO. ATL. It's too high. I can hear them.
Everything went south. So the next week, I see Hollywood Browns anytime touchdown prop at 9-1. Solely because of the quarterback situation in Kansas City. I of course had to take them 9-1 because those odds are just insane for a player that needs one more touchdown to make 750K.
I will get BAP 820 for me. Yeah, when I was in Indiana, I picked up WBAP on 820. That's what I picked up from Texas. Yeah, that's what I picked up. WBAP.
They have struggled against wide receivers all year. The Raiders are going to want to lose this week, rightfully so.
50-20's out of Buffalo.
In the draft, Hollywood Browns, it's got to be a decent payout. So, we're playing a decent payout, so that's a decent payout. Or Hollywood Browns, that's a decent payout.
You did bring up something very interesting, though. We're talking about teams that are already out of it. You might be looking at some of these props. A lot of them in that one, you don't bring up the ones that team you were headlines, like Indiana is getting 3 touchdown passes to make 500K.
So you're getting like snow there right now, okay.
Postseason-wise, that's to a game. Today's episode is looking at what it takes to run a successful restaurant today.
Let me put it back on ABC.
I was attracted to Brad Pitt. That is a sexy mofo. That it's
okay.
It's like a not bisexual, not at all. Look, my daughters listen to my damn show on Spotify. They listen to the.
Hey, your weather. Yes, excuse me.
More like a unisex jacket. Yeah. I watched the film F1. Okay, and that's not a metaphor. We're not cleaning up a bad word. That's about the Formula One racing. Brad Pitt is dreamy. Hey, Rick. That's good looking outfit. Step aside, Vaughn. He's all mine. Holy cow, I do Fred Flintstone. Turns out I do Fred Flintstone. Sorry, we're talking about serious stuff. We're invading Venezuela, and I'm doing bits about finding Brad Pitt attractive. I'm sorry, but I'm still a little punchy. It's 9:30 in the morning UK time for me, okay? Some of you on the West Coast, you guys are just getting going. I'm tomorrow. Get it? So I'm punchy. But here's the deal. I watched F1, and I'm sitting there. Now, granted, on an airplane, I know we get more emotional. I know the oxygen level and the feeling vulnerable, and you're traveling 40,000 feet, and you're doing 600 miles an hour, and somehow that adds up to emotion. Somehow, for some reason, we, as human animals, find ourselves crying at weird stuff. I wonder if being attracted to a dude falls under that. I didn't find myself I didn't find myself attracted to Brad Pitt. I was rather saying that Brad Pitt is very damn attractive. Okay? Jesus Christ. And that is, I think, very nuanced, just as Trump people are approaching Donald Trump, calling balls and strikes. Oh my God, I find myself right now walking into another pun that I'm not going to pun. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to call balls and strikes on Brad Pitt. All right, just to shut me up, I'm going to get to Will here in New York. Will, good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight. Alice is all...
Yeah, how you doing, TJ?
Good morning, brother. Good morning.
Let me ask you a common sense question.
Yes,
if
go
there's
ahead.
as many Venezuelans and gangs over here that we can't locate, if he starts to bomb people, it creates collateral damage. Once people, relatives start to die over there, they become terrorists over here. They got enough drug money to create real havoc over here. They know where everything is. Let me ask you a question. If this is solely about drugs, and I agree this guy needs to go, but I don't know if bombing is the way to do it. It needs a more surgical situation. But here's the deal.
Yes, sir.
If drugs, they know it's coming from China to Venezuela to be sold in America, why aren't they bombing Chinese boats? Because there's a bigger price to pay, economically and militarily.
Sure. Well, yes. No.
All right, so when y'all start praising John Wayne and the White House wannabe, you know, this is the danger he's putting everybody in. You understand? When you get on the train or the buses or stuff like that, this is what's going on. You know, use some common sense, my man, and get your ego out of it. That's what's happening. We living in this guy's ego, man.
Well, but like I said, though, Will, to be fair...
So funny, saw that. That's why she backed out when he put his name on the Kennedy Center. She said, I'm done with it. It was in her face. She could see that this is all about his ego, man. It's crazy.
Well,
something's wrong with this guy, and y'all not actually...
Well, no, we are. No, here's the thing. We are. We've already heard from people who are calling up tonight and saying, look, this is not what we signed up for. This is not... If we're...
All right, I'm going to sign off now because apparently somebody took down a like. I had 8 likes and somebody took down a like. And I haven't got no more likes since the last hour. Anyway, that's okay. Anyway, 2 hours and I'm okay. I'm going to go sign off now. I'll be on TikTok. If you're going to follow me on TikTok, go follow the link. I'm going to go live on TikTok right now. So there you go. Have a good day. Bye-bye.